Alright y'all, I'm going to do a little bit of canning today with some potatoes using these Tattler lids, Tattler. These are reusable. I didn't know about them till a couple of months ago or something when a buddy of mine was telling me about them, and they actually ordered these for me. And anyway, this is for the wide jars. You got a plastic lid here, and then you got a rubber seal which works like a gasket. And you put it on like that, but you still have to put them in hot water. It says to scald them, but usually with the metal rings and stuff and these, we do the same thing. We just get a bowl of really hot water, not boiling, but stick it in there for a little bit. Alright, I already washed these jars and sterilized them, but usually the quart jars, you'll put 1 teaspoon in each one of salt, and these are the pints, so I'm going to put a half. And this is the canning salt. Alright, next, what I do is take and cut a little end off on each end and put it here to either put it in compost or either feed it to the chickens or stuff. They usually like scraps and stuff. You can peel it, but I like it just fine with the peelings on it, and it's faster, so. Using the wide mouth jars, it's a little bit easier to give you more room to get them in the jar and get them out when you get ready to use them. I usually fill it up, something like that. Probably one more. You don't want to get it too full so you have enough head space in there. And then I'll finish cutting and filling these and come back then. Alright, as you can see, I went ahead and filled them with water. You leave your head space about 1 inch or so. I usually fill it up to this big ring on the bottom, the first big ring, or a little below, usually right on it. And then you need to take and wipe off the top and around each one. And I got these in this really. Alright, I dumped the water into the bowl there to make it a little easier. And I'll take the ring, the little gasket, the ring they call it, kind of dry it off a little bit. Put ring, seat it down on the lid here first, and then I'll set it on the jar. And then it says these you leave kind of loose to let it vent more than the metal ones, how you'll tighten them pretty tight. It says to hold it with like one finger, and then when it starts turning, then stop. So instead of cranking down on it like normal, basically right there, I believe, as you feel it start turning, then you just do that with all of them. Alright, so I got my jars in here, got them spaced apart. I turned this on a few minutes ago on low, so it'd be heating up, but not all the way yet. And this is the All-American canner that I received. And I almost forgot to put the little coating of oil on the canner. And this is only something to worry about on the All-Americans. The ones with the rubber gasket, you don't have to do this part. I need to order new clamps. As you see, some of them is broke off, so you have to tighten them a little more. Some of them are a little harder than normal. Alright, now on this one it's really old, so you got to pop this little valve up, and your regular ones will just have a weight you can take off. Crank the heat on up, wait for it to start steaming a little bit. Alright, you can see some steam coming out and hear it bubbling in there, so I'll go ahead and seal it off so it'll build up pressure. I wanted to get to about 10, in between 10 and 15 is fine for me, and if I have to, I'll cut the heat back from there, but once it builds up to 10, I want to go for about 30 to 35 minutes on these potatoes. Alright, as you can see, we're about 13 pounds now, something like that, PSI, so about 30 minutes should be good. Alright, it's been about 30 minutes now, so we'll cut it off, let the temperature go down. After the pressure goes down a little bit, I'll pop that up and make sure that it's all off, and then take it off. After you do this part here, when you get the top off, the jars will be boiling on the inside, and you have to wait. So don't get it wrong, number 6 here. After you're done with the cannon, remove the jars from the processor. Any bubbling to subside for a maximum of 2 to 3 minutes, and then use a towel and tighten firmly, except for jams and jellies and all that kind of stuff. Alright, now as you can see, it's down to about 4 pounds, so there's still some pressure on it, and I'm going to lift this up now so it'll release. And I use that because if you do it with your hand, it's going to burn you. Alright, the gauge is down to 0. Ain't nothing else coming out of here. So I'll start taking these loose. And you may need a stove rag, but these really ain't that hot. So we'll do that. Then when you turn this, take the top up. You'll have a big thing of steam come out, and I'm going to the sink with this. Alright, we'll get that out there. Now as you can see, there you go. Still boiling. So I'm going to set all these on the counter with a rag for a few minutes until they're done. Alright, these two over here are still boiling, so I won't do them, but alright. Now these don't pop like metal lids, so you just have to leave them setting for a while for them to seal. As you can see, this one here lost a good amount of water, but it's probably still alright. Some don't hardly lose any, and I'm not exactly sure if it's something I'm doing or what, but anyway, that is the Tattler lids. And it says down here, number 10, lids will last indefinitely. Rubber rings may easily last 10 years or more. It says somewhere on here. If it's grooves left by the lid evident in rubber ring, turn it over for the next use to prevent mismatch of grooves, which could lead to vacuum seal loss and failure. Alright, hopefully you enjoyed that. Maybe you want to pick some up for long-term preps or something like that. But anyway, stay prayed up, prepped up, and strapped up. See ya.